Welcome back to another episode of Carlisle Studios. It is the first episode of 2023. My name is Hal Hunter. I have with me...
Bella Hunter. Hello.
And...
Aaron Caldow.
Already forgot your name.
You almost
There
forgot
was
your
too
name.
many Hunters going on. I was like, wait, what's my last name?
Yeah.
You would just want to be a part of it.
First episode we're filming. Not sure how that's going to go. First episode in one of the tattoo shops. So, we'll see how it all goes. I thought we'd kick it off, Aaron, with holiday recap.
Holiday recap. Oh, well, for me, I was thinking I'm going to take the full extent of the time that we have, that we're giving ourselves, which is between like Christmas Eve to New Year's or the 3rd of January or something like that. So it's like 10 days.
Yep.
I think it's like the most time we've sort of all had off since last year. And I just went back to my hometown, Portland. Spent the time down there with the family. Cousins were down there, friends were down there. We just pretty much I stayed out at Narrawong, which is a small town, even smaller town, like 10 minutes along the coast out of Portland, at my uncle and auntie's house, and they're just like right on the beach. So we're pretty much at the beach every day. We had the perfect weather for it, which was sick.
It was good weather.
Yeah, and they got it's called the Surrey River. It sort of like runs along the bottom of their property. Around like the local caravan park and then to the beach, and then you can swim, fish in the river, beaches right there. It's good waves, had a bit of a surf.
You're a country boy.
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was actually the best. I needed that little break, I think, from the city and just refreshed to come back, which is good.
Definitely.
Had a great time.
What did you do, Bella? Well, we did the same thing, so...
Well, I didn't go surfing like you did.
No, that's true.
Almost every day.
Most days.
Yeah. I did nothing. I hung out at home with the dogs. Did a bit of gardening.
You did a lot of gardening. We spent way too much money at Bunnings, I reckon.
Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
That's why we had to come back to work, because we spent it all. We have no money now.
Yeah.
We had Christmas Day at our house, which was nice. First time we've ever hosted Christmas. And then New Year's, we hate New Year's.
I don't know if I'd hate it.
I hate it. We did nothing. We went to bed by like 10:30, just after the kids' fireworks at 10. The dogs were losing it, and we went to sleepies.
How close is that to your house, like the fireworks and that?
There's no official fireworks down there, I don't think.
It's just people setting off their
neighbours.
own and setting off the boat ones. What are the...
It was like a solid half
safety
an hour of
things.
fireworks down there.
Really?
But not like official.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just let it
I don't
go.
Everyone
know.
just goes rogue.
I don't know where people buy them, but...
Yeah, well, we had a pretty crazy... Well, we always do. I think they put a bit of money into it down in Portland. Because you're allowed to drink on the street down there on New Year's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they literally open up the main street, where the beach is, and the fireworks go off, all night. You can just, be in and out of the pubs and drink on the street.
That's
and
very
it's
chill.
sick. It's like the last... I'm pretty sure, this might be wrong, but the last town left that does that. Because Port Fairy used to do it too, but I think they shut that down.
Yeah.
We've had pretty much good behaviour every year. So usually there'd be fights and stuff like that, of course. But no, there was apparently the last few years have been really good. So they're just going to keep it going.
Yeah, sick.
So it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
And I was right underneath it. I was drunk as fuck. Right underneath the fireworks, just lying on the grass like that, watching. It was pretty sick. I haven't done that in a long time, since I was a kid, I reckon.
So you had a good New Year's.
I had a really good New Year's.
Like a little teenager.
Yeah. I just fully forgot myself.
Impressed with the fireworks.
Yeah, I was. I
performance
took a
in
video
Portland.
of it and everything.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
I was
If we were good at editing, we could put that in.
I know. I could
just
just go up to the...
Yeah. All right. First tattoo back. You were back on... We all started back on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my first one was sort of not the easiest, and I didn't even really think about it until I was halfway through sort of stenciling.
Yeah.
Because it was snake, head on the hand, sort of wrapping around the wrist.
Oh, hard one.
Hard one. And I just wasn't even really thinking twice about it until I got to the point of all right, how am I actually going to do this? Stencil on the head, and then I start drawing, and it's more the style that he was after was not super traditional. So using a thinner needle and all this, and I'm fuck, how did I get this as my first one? I'm having to draw on little scales and doing all this, and it takes an hour to get that sorted out and be happy with it. But no, it turned out fine. I was happy with it. He was stoked, so got through the first one all right, but no, it was good.
Nice. Your first one, Bella?
My first one was a butterfly. And funnily enough, my last tattoo of last year was also a butterfly.
I can't remember back that far.
You're the butterfly girl.
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, butterfly was good on a regular customer, which was nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing more work on Joel's back piece.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we actually we had a session towards the end of last year where he's got like the main bit in the middle all finished and stuff like that, but we outlined like down the bottom this row of roses, and then on the gaps on both sides, which is sort of like the back of his ribs.
Yeah.
These two skulls with spider legs and then webs below them. But last session, I don't know why, he was fucking dying. And we ended up only...
You only outlined two or something?
We only outlined one side and the bottom bit, which granted is still like a fair amount. But so I had this first session back, I had to draw back on what we'd drawn last time.
On the other side.
Yep. Outline that. Then we shaded both sides. So we've still got the bottom bit to shade. And then that'll be it. But yeah, Joel's
How many sessions has that been so far? 6?
Nah, I think maybe 5.
Yeah, okay.
But it's been more like 4 years.
Yeah,
So,
a long time coming.
yeah.
He'll be very happy when that's done.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, well, be confident.
I'll be happy when it's finished. Let's say that. Yeah. Did you have a New Year's resolution, Aaron?
Well, it's the same as pretty much every person ever. But like, I had a bit of a break from the gym, and I was like, I need.
I've never had.
But it was a bit different. I was like, no, I'm gonna be a bit more chill on it this year. Like, as in, I think when like maybe, it's, a lot of people I find like when they first get into it, they go real hard, and you're just like, oh, I just want it like to do, like get the most out of this. Like I started eating just like chicken, rice and veggies every day. And I was like, that's just too much. But I just want to like, I don't know, I just kind of want to like put a bit more running into it now that I will be able to run again and stuff like that. So,
Can you run now?
well, it's...
Can you give us the context as to why you can't run?
Oh, well...
We need to get this actual video of you doing the backflip up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. So I've had recent knee surgery, 6 months ago, and then a week before Christmas, so 2 surgeries. The first one was because I had a bit of an accident. I was at the gym. So we just got to tell the story properly. And hopefully this is the last time because I've had 6 months of telling it.
Yep.
But
you can just refer them to the podcast when people say like,
yeah, I will. I'll just be like, oh, you obviously don't listen to the CTC studios, so I don't have anything to say. But anyway, so I was at the gym and I was there with Charles and Zach, and we were there late. We were always going late. And like, it was just us in the gym, and we're sort of in one of those moods where you're a bit like,
silly.
You're fucking around a little bit. We had like those
half bouncy balls.
Well, that was there, but we started off by just having those like sort of like vertical leap, like box jump things.
Oh yeah.
And we we're just acting them up and seeing how high we could jump, and we just started getting a bit carried away. And there was one of those things sitting just next to it on the side, like half balancing pad, half like gym ball. And it was up the other way. I just like jumped on it a couple of times. I'm like, fuck, that thing's bouncy as. And then there's this impulse, like a childhood impulse, like obviously grown up jumping on trampolines, like I was saying, down at the river, doing backflips into the water, all this. And I just impulse. I'm like, I'm gonna do a backflip. I'm not even gonna tell them. I'm just gonna do it. And I did it. I attempted it, and it sort of shot me up more than I thought it would. I knew straight away, I'm not making this. All right, put the hands down. Just I've done that a million times. We'll walk away from it. It'll be fine. And I think from what I remember, I didn't really get my hands to the ground in time.
You didn't even flip.
Well, yeah,
you more just went
straight up,
and then splat.
And so straight up, and then I'm thinking oh yeah, cool. I braced myself, and it was sort of all at once. I sort of just hit my hands, a little bit of my face, and then my knee just went straight into the ground. And I'm getting up, it fucking hurt a lot. But it's like that, anytime you hit your knee real hard and you sort of think, oh, this is bad.
Walk it off.
But a minute later, it's like, oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was the case. It's just the same kind of pain, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I'm on the ground sort of just being like, I got up straight away trying to walk it off and I'm like, yeah, this is bad, but it'll be fine. And then I'm like, it's starting to swell up a little bit. Maybe I'll just like loosen that up. And I'm on the ground doing a bit of this, like trying to loosen it up. And I felt something kind of weird in there. And I'm like, I'm going to stop doing that. We went home, all that. And then obviously I couldn't sleep that night. The pain was just like, it just got worse. So I called the ambulance on myself at like 6 a.m. I get there and then, they do the x-rays and then they're like, all right, you've done a pretty good job on it. You've broken your kneecap in half completely.
Yeah.
Like 2 solid bits. And they're like, I've never seen this before. And like, I'm sure it's happened plenty of times.
Oh, it makes you feel so sick.
That particular nurse had never seen it. And there's, like they're showing me, they've filled me with drugs already. And then they're showing me on the screen, like, over on the other side of the room, they're just like, yeah, so this is what you've done. And I'm like, what am I looking at? And it's like, I can just see it and there's just 2 clear bits of kneecap.
I've seen the x-ray.
You have seen the x-ray?
Disgusting.
Yeah, and I pretty much, had to get emergency surgery. And then that was like, that was probably over 6 months ago. It was a long recovery. I thought it was going to be quicker.
You said it would be very quick.
I was like, 8 weeks, we'll be back on the track. Don't worry about it. And then I was even more optimistic about it after the second surgery, stupidly thinking like, I got a week to get back home. Sweet, I can drive my car, no problem. Not
This is only recent.
This is only real recent.
He had to swap cars with his dad.
To get the fucking wires out.
Yeah, so that was 6 months later. Get the wiring taken out that held it together to heal. So that's another full surgery or whatever. And so that was a week before Christmas. And I'm thinking, I'll be sweet. I'll be running. I'll be able to drive my manual car.
What, 5 hours?
Yeah, 4.5 hours back home. Gets to 10 minutes before Dad's leaving. I didn't realise. And I'm like, you know what, Dad, I might have to do a car swap. I don't know how I'm going to get home. So luckily he's come up to Melbourne from Geelong to do a car swap. I have to drive his van, like his RV. And I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I've had to have my legs sort of like fully across and I'm sitting like in the splits doing 4 hours driving like this and I was like...
And you don't fit into a normal car very easily anyway.
No, it actually is funny. My small car, I fit better in that than most other cars.
Really?
Yeah, like it's got heaps of room. I don't know how, but it's perfect. But that's my story.
So New Year's resolution is to...
be able to run properly again.
Yep.
And go for some runs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yours, Bella?
I don't really have New Year's resolutions, but I guess if you could like sum it up, I think every year I try to do this and I never really succeed in the way that I want, but I would like to only do things that better me. So kind of be like a little bit more selfish with like, I don't know, some friendships and like going to events that you can't, like you don't really want to go to, that, don't make you super confident. I think I'm going to be like that.
Good. Good morning, Teggy.
Morning. Welcome to the podcast.
You just do your thing, Teggy. We'll be here chatting. Teggy's just walked in, by the way. I like that, Bella.
Thank you.
Focus on yourself.
About time.
And mine was stress less.
Were you stressed?
Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
were stressed.
ridiculous.
Always, mate.
Is that why you were always saying, just like, you know what? I don't
Yep.
care. You're
Yep.
like, I didn't realise that was your therapy.
But that's like
telling
yourself.
that's his way of being like, no, that's it. I'm just gonna do my own thing. But internally,
I didn't
he's got
know.
all these demons being like
makes sense.
raging.
It now makes sense.
And then I
'Cause
have
you
to
said
go
that a
home
lot.
with him.
You're always like, you know what? I don't care about it. You tell me something and you're like, I actually don't care. And I'm like,
That means
cool.
he cares so much.
Yeah.
No, it means I'm telling myself not to worry about it.
Yeah.
It means you're trying to rewire your brain to be like, I'm so stressed about this, and if I tell myself I don't care,
Oh, you
it's
did
got to happen.
a good job of hiding it.
No, I think I actually don't
does
care
it?
anymore.
I thought he did.
I used to stress heaps about it. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. I thought I was having a heart attack at work
I think you told me that. Yeah.
because I was just like, any drama or issue that came up, I just couldn't move on from it.
I do remember.
And I was like,
That was an
like,
intense period.
oh, it was so much drama.
Yeah.
And then I last year, I tried to just not worry about it. And I got way better at it. And now I'm like,
But your thing was like you would try to just ignore it. And I'm like, well, that's not dealing with it. You would just be like, not my problem. And I'm like, well, these are things that we have to deal with. We own a business. We have a lot going on in like just general life. Everyone does.
Have you found?
And you were just trying to ignore it. And I'm like, that is not the right way to go. You're an adult. Think rationally.
Have you found moving away to the beach has helped with that?
Yeah.
It would have to.
Definitely.
The beach every day.
Well, he gets like alone time when he's like
Yeah.
out surfing. That's
Yeah.
like his like therapy.
It's calm.
There's no one to
out
talk
there.
to.
Like it's very calm. Maybe not at the moment. I don't know how busy it gets down there.
It's not that busy.
But it just seems like every time I've been to your place, it's just like it's like being back home. Like it's calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just think I was like thinking, so this year I was like, the person who can have the biggest impact on my career going forward is me. So like if you're coming into work and you're a bit fucking sad and I'm like, well,
You got the grumpies?
That doesn't affect me and my tattoos. And I'm still going to do my job.
Yeah.
And, we're friends, so I might say like, oh, Aaron, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's
There's
like
a big brick wall up here. Yeah. It's like
Bigger
you can
than
say
it already
stuff and I
was.
ain't listening.
detached. I'm detached.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. I'll just start saying, oh, mate, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I
think you were already saying that. But now you'll really mean it.
No, because
He's had time to think about it and he means this time.
I used to just worry about everything. And then, so now I'm just like trying to not. And I think it's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Come in, well, I've worked 3 days this week and haven't been stressed at all.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And I think, mate, any obstacle that comes, be able to work it out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I don't know if that's necessarily a resolution, but
No, I reckon for sure.
goal.
Yeah. Well,
I
what
should
is a
get you one of
resolution
those
if it's
things
not
for
something
like
you want to work on?
next to your bed that's like those motivational posters that are like stress less.
Well, you bought me that book that I've been reading.
Yeah, I did.
I think it's about the philosophy of not caring about being liked.
Ah.
Yeah.
And no, it's not caring about being liked, but also what people think of you and how others view you. It's more you just need to be concerned about yourself and your own way that you portray.
I'm not going to try and
actions.
explain it because I sort of don't understand what I'm reading.
It's very philosophical.
It's a Japanese text that's been translated into English, and the whole book is two people having a conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just a big
The
therapy
philosopher
session.
and the youth.
Yeah. I can't remember what the book's called, but I have been reading it.
I can't remember either.
But yeah, that's my goal. So wait, you'll see me just explode at the end of the year.
I give it 4 months.
Yeah.
I'll just quit. I'll be like, I'm out.
Yeah. Like,
quit.
where's this coming from?
Yeah. You'll know.
It's like that book did not work. It's like,
Well, it's taking you a while to
I'll be
read it.
tearing that book up at work.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Most painful tattoo.
Oh, am I first?
Well, go
Or
for it.
whoever.
Okay. I would say obviously my back, but it's a bit of a hard one because I don't really have my entire back done. I have from like where the bottom of your bra, I guess, would go up.
I would say that's the worst bit.
Really? Because so
reckon?
many
For
other
me.
people have said the lower.
No, I've been fine with the lower bit.
Yeah, okay. So I've
especially,
been
like,
putting off doing the lower because I almost died.
Tailbone was pretty bad, but then even creeping down onto the arse a bit was actually, I was thinking it was going to be way worse.
Yeah, okay.
Up a bit, shoulder blades, all that. Fuck that.
I remember because I think it was terrible because we ended up doing it without having planned that we were doing it. So like I literally didn't even have 5 minutes to prepare my brain for it because Hal had a last minute cancellation a few years ago and I said as a joke, oh, let's outline my back. And he was like, yeah, cool, sit down. And he just printed out this massive stencil and just did it. And I remember like my head was down, like leaning on the bed, like dug into my arms. And when like I sat up, I didn't know if I was crying or dripping in sweat. It was that bad.
I remember
I'm a
you
sook.
not enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I do think, definitely no preparation time.
That's what killed me, I think.
Under the pump, I was under the pump
Time-wise.
time-wise, so
You only had 2 hours or something.
so you had to sort of just do it.
No, it was an hour and a half for the outline and then the shading we did another day because
Yep.
we ran out of time. But both were terrible.
Oh,
So,
and
yeah,
getting
can't wait to
tattooed
do
by
the
your
bottom bit.
partner as well is definitely not.
No, you're too comfortable with them that you can sort of be like, fuck off, this hurts. Or like you just don't care what they think of you if they think you're a sook.
Yeah, all right, so back. Aaron?
Oh, it's stomach for me.
Oh, we've got the matching identical stomach
do.
tattoos,
Get
don't we?
them out.
We do.
Get them out.
Yeah, no. The year's just started. This resolution stuff hasn't kicked in yet. I can't.
Yeah, he hasn't got the gym
Oh,
body.
we
sorry. You
can't
need
be
to have
showing off
a
yet.
8-pack before you
Well,
do.
in the last episode of this year, you're going to do a body reveal.
I reckon you should do one of those like
blacked out.
yeah, one of those ones where at the start you're like posing like in the mirror with like your phone up here like flexing or something, and then at the end of the year it's like you real buff like.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
I reckon you
Or
should.
you could
That's
do a
not-
classic before and after where it's like the before photo, you like crouch over heaps so it looks like you got a big gut. And then in the second photo,
Yeah.
you're like got bodybuilding tan
We
on
just,
and
like,
you
Photoshop a
hairless.
six-pack on
Or
there.
it goes the other way and you completely blow out because you tried to do it and it was just too much, and then
Well,
you
I
just become.
thought I'm thinking if I was going to blow out, it would have been when I couldn't really move. With
I don't
my
reckon
knees.
you
So
possibly physically could blow out.
no,
I haven't really I think I've always been like semi-healthy. Like
you're stretched out too long.
But like, you know, you'll have a week where you're just like, "Pfft, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just ordering whatever I want all week, and it's just like, yeah, I don't really notice any difference.
No.
No.
Lucky your tummy tat's never going to stretch out then.
But guts, I remember when you got that.
Yeah.
And it was,
I
I
had to
told
do
you it
two
was going to
sessions.
fuck you up.
Yeah, I had to do the 2 sessions. So lines, and they got the black shading done. There's no way I could do more than that. It was fucked. Like it was fucked. And like I went to Fergus at Melbourne Tatco to do it, and like, you know, obviously you don't want to look like it's killing you. So I remember the whole time I was sitting there like doing this and just being like, yeah, talking away. And then it was a shock to them that I wanted to stop because I was so good at not showing any discomfort.
Would he say that?
He did, because I remember his face even was like, oh, what? Like, so you sure we don't want to? And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely dying. Like, I'm sorry. So we were literally just talking the whole time. It was actually like, yeah, it was really good like that. And I think it helped me get to that point because I was pretty distracted. But then it just like, it really kicked in. And because I think it was like, you know, 2.5 hours or something that we got to. And then I was just like, nah. And I'm like, I can't. If we can stop at the black, then I'm stopping. Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
But yeah, by
That's
a mile,
fair.
that was the worst. Like outlining your back's obviously a shit day, but I would say, yeah, like stomach was the worst.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's funny because I did
yours
tell
was-
you because
yeah.
we have literally the identical stomach tattoo,
exactly
same
same.
size, everything. And I told you it was going to be bad because it
did.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you have to do?
I did 3 sessions.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
A few.
So you beat me.
Yeah. Not that it's a competition.
Well, we were,
but if it
we were
was-
competitive about
yeah,
it.
if it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did win.
Granted, I was much younger than you when I got it.
How old?
19.
Oh yeah. No, that's when I would say I would have pushed through. At 19.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it just took me by surprise. I had got my ribs done before that.
Yeah, so that thing.
Your ribs was like your
You
first
did
one.
that in one go and then have had multiple sessions on it.
Yeah.
As a finished tattoo.
Yeah, it's the
So-
shittest tat ever.
But that is impressive. Like, I wouldn't fucking be able to do that. No
But
way.
I think because it's so light, I think it barely went in.
Did you get the Heart Always Forever one in one go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the ribs for first one, the other ribs for my second one. Then I got a realistic diamond on my foot as my third one. But then I had a bunch of leg tats, a few on the arm.
Yeah.
And I was going to Mexico at the end of that year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to get the guts done.
Yeah, got to be ready for the photos.
Actually, I might have had some on my chest. I think I had the
you
lettering.
would have because, I remember there was that photo of you in Hawaii with everyone. And
Yeah.
you've just got like the stomach and then a couple up here.
Yeah.
No, you did have the lettering because I remember very clearly.
Yeah. No, so I had the lettering and there's like a rose on my chest.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to get the guts done before I went to Mexico because we were going surfing. And I was just like, we'll just do it in one session. And I was like, I think I barely made it through the outline.
Oh,
It was
so
fucked.
bad.
I filmed a bit of the outline. I must have been
Why would you do that?
Yeah, and I put it on my Instagram. And
And then no finished product at the end.
nah. So that was bad. Yeah. I think I didn't actually find the back too bad other than it just takes ages.
Yeah.
And I struggled with one of my armpits big time.
The one that I did.
Yeah, but that was also like situation, got it done at home by Bella. So like your partner.
In COVID.
Yeah, you're already super comfortable, and that's just like
the dog kept running in to like sit with us, like, and try to jump up on the bed. Oh,
Yeah, it was a bad time. But then I got the other one done by Scott, and granted, like it was still bad, but
you came home and you were like, nah, so much easier.
I think
Scott.
I just had in my mind it was gonna like fuck me up.
Yeah, it's always like going to make a huge difference, like where you are.
Yeah.
Like maybe what shop you're in, who's doing it, or not in a shop or whatever, and it's like. Yeah, it can
it's
just
your
be the
mindset.
littlest
Like you
thing
have
that
to go
changes
into it.
Yeah, and I think that's what got me through so much of this. Is obviously like I was in Melbourne Taco, and I'm like, I don't want to look like
A big sook.
yeah, like I don't want to be telling them that this hurts every 2 seconds because it fucking did, and that I wasn't going to try and I was going to try my best to get through the whole thing, but
I would say stomach is the one that I think people struggle with the most.
yeah,
And it catches them by surprise.
So
Like,
I use numbing cream for my tummy because I knew that I wouldn't last.
it's massive as well.
Yeah. It's like a massive snake that goes like around my belly button and like under my boob and onto my hip, I guess. But I felt part of it because the numbing cream obviously doesn't last very long. But we did the outline in one session and then the shading as well. So I did feel parts, and I was like, if I didn't numb for this, I could not have done it.
thoughts on numbing cream?
I personally love it for myself because it's more of a mental thing that I'm like, all right, I've got to get through this. And if it's like a really bad spot, like your tummy or something, that I know I need the outline to be done in one go or something,
Yeah.
it's easier for me.
But what about when people
When people use it, I think that's where it gets tricky because I don't think you should ever use it for your first tattoo or anything. I think you should sort of gauge how you go with your first few because some people definitely don't need it. But I have a few customers that won't get tattooed without it. And I know that they're fine to get the tattoo because they sit fine without the cream. But the worst part is when it starts to wear off and then they just completely wither away, like, because it doesn't last for very long. And if you don't put it on correctly, it's not going to work. So you're sort of like taking a big chance with it by using it. And especially if you've never used it before, some people can react badly with like a crappy brand.
What do you think, Aaron?
I've never had any problem with it with clients using it. Other than there's a potential that it'll wear off and then they might like tap out before you finish the tattoo or whatever. But I haven't really had that happen very often. But when it comes to actually like tattooing with that skin being numbed, I feel like you hear stories or people say that like they absolutely hate it, like when a client has numbing cream on. But I've never noticed any difference. Like I don't know if you have, but like just the actual tattooing, it feels exactly the same to me. So if it keeps them still, and I only care about the outline as well, as in keeping still. So like if it gets you through an outline on a stomach and you use numbing cream, I'm all for it because you're going to sit still.
Yes.
And then if it goes like very, very bad after that for you pain-wise, but we're on the shading.
And you're moving around
couldn't
and stuff.
care less. I'm like, well, that's just the way it can be sometimes.
I do agree because technically the outline I find is way more critical. The outline needs to be perfect. The lines need to be crispy and exactly where they need to be.
Yeah.
Crispy.
And as much as I wouldn't
crispy.
want my client to be in too much pain, like I'm always going to be like, look, if it's too much, obviously we can stop whenever.
Yeah, take
as
a
long as
break
we're
or
through
whatever.
the outline. But
Because they can always come back and do the shading.
I'm still always thinking about the product of the tattoo more than like how much pain you're in right now. It's like, we'll go until I'm not going to make you keep going.
Yeah.
But obviously, we'll just go until you're done. But I'm going to still just go in. I'm not going to change the way I tattoo because you're in more pain because you use numbing cream or anything like that.
No,
It's
because
like,
it's the quality of the tattoo.
yeah, exactly.
Versus,
Like it's like you're in pain for today, but it's like
it doesn't last.
Obviously. But other
and
than that,
no one's that traumatized after a tattoo. Like it sucks, but the second you're not tattooing, it doesn't hurt.
I've seen some people fairly traumatized after getting tattooed.
yeah,
Really?
I was proper rattled.
Maybe you're not like pushing them hard enough.
I don't know.
You are very nice. Yeah. I don't know about the numbing cream. I used it one time. I reckon I've used it 2 times.
You used it when we were in lockdown at home when I was tattooing.
Yeah. And I think it's
Only because you wanted to try it because you didn't believe that it
to
worked.
varying levels of success. I think it works. And I don't know like why that is, like application wise. I don't know the best sort of application and stuff. But I found with customers, and I always think like when people hear about numbing cream, and I'm like, just firstly, I'm all for, if people want to use it, like I don't care, use it. But like I'm not going to put it on for you and tell you how to do it because I don't know that sort of stuff. It's like, if you want to come in with it on, that's fine, you know? But I think the issue I found is the expectation is people go, oh, numbing cream. And then you think it's going to be like when you get a general anesthetic, when you get stitches or something, and it's like it literally is like fully numb. But just because it's a surface cream, there's so many other factors that come into it.
Yeah.
You know, does it absorb into your skin as well as other people's? Like, did you leave it on long enough? All this sort of shit.
And like you're always meant to do a test patch with stuff like that and make sure that, you know, it works on your skin. You're not having an allergic reaction and stuff. And no one ever does that.
And I don't think I haven't found that it like affects the skin when you're tattooing it or whatever. The thing that annoys me is people have in their mind it's going to be fully numb, and then you do one line on them and it fucking kills because it hasn't been put on properly.
Yeah,
and then like they struggle to mentally get over the fact that it's like they thought it was going to feel nothing and it fucking really hurts.
And then it's like they would have coped with it better without it, even though they probably feel it more without it. They're still probably taking the edge off a little bit, but that just like mental side of it.
I think the worst part, and I've only just thought about it, is so like you're doing, for example, a knee and they think that the whole area is numb and you've done like one side of the knee and then you go to pull like a line on the other side and they're like playing on their phone, they're not even like focusing on it, and then they just sort of go like, oh, sorry, that bit wasn't numb. That is the worst. Because you're like, oh, if you weren't using the numbing cream, you would have been sitting there like, you know, just waiting for pain because it is painful.
Well, I just think, you're mentally prepared. I think the things like if you've already done the outline and you're coming in for a second session and it's all shading, because you can remove the glad wrap and the cream bit by bit.
Yeah.
So each new bit has just freshly had the cream taken off it, so it's going to be the numbest.
Yes.
But when you're doing like for example, people come in, they've got their back fully numbed with numbing cream. You take all the glad wrap off, you wipe all the cream off to put like a big stencil on. You might not tattoo them for 40 minutes after that cream's come off because you've got to put the stencil on, get it on correct, all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Like how much
and by then it's like mostly worn off.
Yeah, you might only get like 10 minutes of semi-numbness.
So I'm sort of like, I don't like, if people want to use it, whatever. But I'm always just like, I think the best way to get through a tattoo for me personally is to come in thinking it's going to absolutely wreck you.
I do agree.
And then so you're mentally prepared for the pain, and then you just hope that it's not going to be that bad. But if it is, you're ready for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds terrible to say, but I prefer when customers come in and they're actually shitting themselves for the pain, because I know that they're mentally prepared to be like, this isn't going to be good, but once it's done, it's done.
Well, how do you?
Because it's never that bad.
How do you approach it when they come in like that? I feel like I know what you do. Is you're just like, yeah, mate, it's going to hurt. But I go the other way when I'm like, if I can see they're real freaking out about it, I'm just like, look, it's not that bad. Like you'll be surprised. You know, I'll try and calm it down that way. But I know I've seen you, and you'd be like, yeah, it absolutely will. And then they're just fully freaking out.
No, but that's
and it works. It definitely works.
If they're having a panic attack, I'm not going to be like
not to that
yelling
extent.
in their face, telling them to
but I've
fucking...
definitely seen it where you're just like, I would go the calm down approach, and you're always like, no, you're definitely
Hal's
right.
the honesty approach. He's like, it's going to fucking hurt.
It's really going to hurt, and don't make them feel good about it at all. But then as soon as you start,
soon as you start, they go, oh, that's not too bad.
Exactly,
and you go,
which is the whole point.
There you go, you know.
Yeah, I find that.
I'll always say like, it's going to fucking hurt, but if you know, you always follow it with like, if you need a break, just let me know, because there's no rush.
Yeah.
If you're bloody having a fit on the bed or something, we'll stop.
Some people's head after you've just agreed fully. They're looking for reassurance, and you've just been like, absolutely.
Well, I remember sitting in, I was over in London I actually booked in to get a tat on my ass from Simon Earl.
Yeah.
And then I think the day before, because we were flying back the day after, I was like, I don't want to sit on the plane with like a fresh ass tat.
Yeah, I remember you messaged me being like, I'm not going to get my bum.
For 24 hours. And then I messaged him and I was like, oh, do you want to tattoo my throat instead? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then I remember sitting in the waiting area and I was sitting there going like, fuck, my heart is racing. Like I could hear my heart beat. I was that nervous. And
You can like feel it in your throat too.
I was thinking, fuck, like I've not been this nervous in a long, long time to get tattooed. And I remember lying down and I was like, man, I feel like you can see my heart beating out of my chest. And then when he started, I was like, oh, it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
And
But
that
then
was
when
one of
you were on the
easiest tats.
plane-
Because of that panic.
I
at the
remember when you
start.
landed and you were like beside yourself because your throat was so like
Yeah.
inflamed and like you don't like flying in general. So like you're always in a bit of a state of array when you fly. Neither of us like traveling. And you honestly, your glands were just like, you looked like a tree trunk of your neck because you were so swollen and just like from sitting still on the plane with a fresh
It
tat.
was bad. Yeah, flying after getting tattooed is fucked.
I don't think I would do it.
I've got this one
I
story
wouldn't.
about this guy.
I think I'd rather have the tattoo at the start of the holiday.
Yeah.
Even though
100%.
everyone's always like, no, fuck that, because then it's like, oh, you can't go swimming or you can't do this, you can't do that. I
Get it
got a
done.
tattoo in Fiji when I went over there in a hut and then straight in the pool afterwards.
We don't recommend that.
Yeah, don't do that, but I was fine. And then the flight home was cruisy.
And you got to go swimming.
Not a single
and get a
infection.
tat.
This is a long time ago at Vintage, and it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, and there was a walk-in. This guy, it was his first tat, and I had time, and he ended up picking. He picked off the wall the Johnny Dollar horse and snake, and I was like, oh, sick. It was his first tattoo, and I was like, oh fuck, like that's not something I would have thought someone would pick, and I really wanted to tattoo it, so I was into it. And I was like, where do you want to get it? And he's like, I want it over my kidneys. So like lower back, but off to the side. Which was
As a first tat.
Yeah, and it was only like palm size.
There.
It was an odd spot to get it,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, whatever. And granted, I hadn't tattooed many backs or anything like
Yeah.
that. I sat him in the worst position for it, but I just remember first line, he fucking died, man. And like, yeah, it was a really, really hard tattoo to do. Like, hard as
It's
fuck.
hard even when they sit still.
And he was wearing like khaki slacks
Yeah.
Slacks.
or whatever they're called, chinos or something. So he had chinos on and like a nice shirt, but he obviously took the shirt off. And I remember I dipped my needle in the ink and then like ran my machine whilst this was before I used to run it continuously. So I had like a foot pedal.
Yeah.
So I started running it as I was carrying it across his pants and it sprayed all the black ink on his ass, like all over his pants. Like I fully wrecked these pants. And I was like, oh man, like I got a bit of ink on your pants. And he's like, oh, it'll wash out, won't it? And
No.
I was like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
potentially.
Like never.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so this tattoo wrecked him. And I was happy with it in the end. And I was like, oh, what are you doing tonight? And he's like, oh, I'm driving straight to the airport. I'm flying to London.
Oh.
And I was like, what?
So he had to wear his yucky tattooed pants with a fresh, like back
He had
kidney
a fresh
tat.
back tat and his pants, like they were fucked, man.
I'm going to say that's poor planning on
That's
his
a
part. I
nightmare
wouldn't.
of a flight too.
Well,
like that is.
But
It's
also,
like
you
24
wouldn't know
hours.
yeah,
how long.
that is so bad.
You wouldn't know how long the tattoo would take. Like, what if you were really slow? What if you were running behind and he had a flight to get on?
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
a bit
know. It was
silly.
very weird. And unsurprisingly, I've never seen him again.
Maybe he moved to London, couldn't get further away.
I think it was more he realised I ruined his pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So stomach, back tats are painful, we reckon.
Shit, yeah.
What do we
Anything
think-
torso.
What's the easiest?
Forearms.
Yeah. Forearms.
Or outside of calf.
I was
or
gonna
something.
say,
Shins?
yeah, like
I reckon your shin's pretty
outside
good.
of thigh, I've nearly not felt a thing.
Yeah. I remember when you got that one from Josh Sutterby, you said you couldn't feel
I
it at
could
all.
barely feel it. Yeah. And the same, Teggy did one on me the other week, and just like barely felt it. But I was drinking.
You're doing all the bad
I actually reckon
things.
this is not a recommendation for people to do it, but the people I've tattooed who've done like the most in a session and sat the best for the longest period of time have all been drunk.
Yeah.
Or they've had a drink to like calm the nerves. Don't come in pissed,
And they
please.
say something about like two drinks is almost more effective than like like Panadol or something for painkillers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like
That
it's
stuff
gonna
doesn't
it's
work.
gonna help you.
Yeah.
So I
sure.
tattooed.
The liquid courage.
I don't think you were there, but I did Bobby's back. And
I was there.
reckon he had 12 cruises. But like before the
No.
tap.
So I actually had to go down and buy the slab, and he said, Bella, go and get me a slab of cruisers and I want the mixed variety pack. So all day he was like necking like pineapple, guava, and they're like his 2 favourite flavours at the time. And he probably had about half the slab to himself because then Dave and stuff, like some other friends came.
But he sat like a rock. Like,
Did
it was
not
like
move,
nothing.
but he was on the candy water.
As it being like a mental thing, that the alcohol helps with that too, because you just care less and you're not thinking. You
become loosey-goosey.
Yeah, you just get distracted easier and you just like, So it's like, the physical pain isn't as bad and then mentally you're just somewhere else. Well, that's like what I'm like.
So what, we're advocating for people to come in pissed and get tatted?
Just have a few cruises before you come in.
If you do.
Please
you know
don't.
what? Have a nap on the bed and I'll keep going.
Yeah. All right.
I've had that happen too.
Have you?
Someone fell asleep when I was tattooing on before.
I don't believe that. I've never had that happen
I've
ever.
never had that
Because it was on
happen.
the shoulder. He was sitting like,
I
straight on the
do.
back. And then, he literally started nodding off and then like he sort of like did a little wake up and tried to see if I noticed. And I let it go the first time and then he did it again. And then I was like, I know you're falling asleep. And he's like, am I? Yeah.
All right. I've had people say they've been asleep.
I've never
and I was
believed
like,
it.
you definitely weren't because I could hear you groaning and like shaking and shit like that.
He fully was. He's a trooper though, that dude.
All right. We should call it here because Teggy's been waiting patiently over there in the corner for us to
patiently
get out
and
so he can
quietly.
tattoo.
Thanks, Teg.
Yeah, thank you for everyone for listening. Let us know what you think about the episode. And
Like, follow, subscribe, review.
as Bella always says,
I don't know what else to put in.
I don't even know what you can do on Spotify on the platforms.
No, neither.
I think you can follow the podcast, give it a star review and stuff like that. And so I think we're on 4.9 stars. So someone's obviously not thought it was that good.
No.
Well, where does it start?
Your mum
'Cause maybe
actually.
that's up from like 3 stars.
Your mum said she tried to do 5 stars, but she accidentally did 4. So it could be her, or we could have someone else out. So a few others that hate it. Maybe your mum rectified it though. So they haters.
Well, she didn't
Where
like
are
the
ya?
episode the other week. She sent me a big text about it.
Oh,
idle
yes.
through it.
Hal's mum.
No, don't. We're not going into it.
Hal's mum has a PhD in what is it?
Microbiology. Not important, but she did say that.
She wants everyone to know that she's not a bogan. I'm sorry, Melita.
She texts
You
me
told
going,
me.
she goes, you made me sound like an absolute bogan in that episode. She's like, I've got a doctorate.
And she wanted me to say that, and then like she went back on it and was like, no, don't, that's embarrassing. So I'm sorry, Mel, I've embarrassed all of us.
Well, she might not even listen this far, so who knows.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all for listening. Thanks for coming on, Aaron.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for getting up early to do this, Bella.
Always.